All right, it's time. It's time. Y'all know your boy's super excited over here because I got my dog in the building with me today, man. You see him over here. Let me drop the intro, all right? Because clearly, man, we got a little history. I think we go back to 2014, man. It's been over 10 years I've known you, man. Craziness, man. But this guy came into the NFL in the 2014 NFL draft when the Pittsburgh Steelers selected him with the 15th overall selection in the first round out of the Ohio State University.
Yes, sir.
And after getting drafted, man, he went on to enjoy a 4-year career where he was a 2-time Pro Bowler and what I call the prototype for what y'all see today on the NFL on the defensive side. That unicorn linebacker that can cover everybody, could blitz, could play all this other stuff. Just a fast type of guy. And one of my personal favorite things is he is the founder of the Ryan Shazier Fund for Spinal Rehabilitation. So without further ado, shout out to my homie Shay Leave, a.k.a. Ryan Shazier in the building, man.
What's up, Moats, man? Appreciate you for having me, bro.
Man, come on, bro. Last time I seen you, we were doing your run for the black and gold down at Acashore Stadium, man. Good time, man. Good time.
Yeah, that's a great time, man. I really enjoy being able to host that event. It raises a lot of money for our foundation, but it's also a good time. Most people, when they go, they never been in nothing like that before, so they enjoy it. So
no, without a doubt. I know for me, man, I've been out there a couple of times and I always appreciate the invitation from you too, man, to put my little Kentucky Derby suit on and get out there and have a little fun, man. So shout out, man.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, so that's my list, taste of the Kentucky Derby. I actually never been, so I want to go one day.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been, so I want to go one day. My dog Pharaoh said he go all the time, so I'm gonna have to hit him up. But
Let's go.
It seemed like a cool event, but we play off of Kentucky Derby with the horse theme and everything like that. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, I like that, man. I definitely like that. Now, this past year, man, you had a first time experience, man, joining the Steelers coaching staff, right? Steelers offensive assistant. Just talk about what that experience was like for you, man.
Man, that was a really cool experience because when it comes to coaching, a lot of players have the idea of what they think coaching is.
Yeah.
They think it's a lot of long hours, a lot of meetings, staying, late nights, and just when the players are there, like when the players first get there, the coach is already there. When the players get leaving, the coaches are still already there. When the players just pop up at the facility, the coaches are there. Whatever the players are thinking about all the hours that the coaches have, they are not wrong. So but the thing is, what I would say about it is it's really a blessing because you really get to learn the ins and outs of how they decide the plays, how they decide the scheme, what they feel is good or bad versus a team. And for me, it was really cool to be on the offensive side of the ball with me being a defensive player. I really got to see what Arthur was calling versus certain teams. I got to really process what the linebackers are thinking. I mean, not what the linebackers, what the running backs are thinking. And just honestly to see the personnel on the offensive side of the ball. You have divas a little bit on defense, but you get to see a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball just to see how
like you said,
more,
just a little bit of just a little bit. We ain't got a lot over there, all right?
It's on the defensive side of the ball, you might have a little bit when it comes to DBs, or you might have a little bit when it comes to D linemen, but I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of drama at the linebacker position. And I'm not saying that because I'm a linebacker, but it's just more of, it just kind of, you're calling the plays, you're making plays, But, DBs, they don't want to tackle sometimes. Receivers don't want to block. Running backs want the ball.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of funny because it's only one ball, but you have at least 5 designated players that can get it. So to me, it's pretty cool, the different aspect of the game.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you being a player for the majority of your time and then obviously transition over to the coaching side, what's the difference for you preparation-wise in terms of a game week? When you're a player, I know I saw how much time you would spend at the facility, man, winning edge meetings, etc., getting ready for the game. What's that like in contrast, though, as a coach? And which one, did you kind of feel a little bit more like, all right, I kind of like this a little bit better?
Obviously, I love playing.
Yeah.
So I'm never gonna miss playing.
There it is.
I would say when it comes to the film aspect, as a player, I was like, man, I'm watching film just as much as the coaches. When reality, you're really not, because even if you're watching, I was watching about three.
Because I was gonna say, you watch a lot of tape, bro.
So as a player, for instance, when I was an offensive assistant, if we're playing the Ravens, I've already watched 3 games of the Ravens the week we played the Bengals the week before.
Okay, so you're essentially a week ahead then.
As an offensive assistant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I'm watching it, and then when a player sees on the film, it's 2nd and 10, this play is Sammy 33.
Uh-huh.
I think they're running, a Dover route.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 weeks of film the 3 games of film that I'm watching the week before, like, I'm the one putting all that information in.
Jeez.
Or like me and other assistants.
Yeah,
I'm not just going to say just me.
But I get you though.
We're the one putting all that information in. So we're watching it, and then we'll give like the coaches like a quick rundown of like what we've seen. Mm-hmm. Then they're going to watch the rest of it as well. So by the time we're going in there to watch over the film, the coaches have watched over the film from the game we just played.
Got you.
But then they already so the players will come in early in the day, we'll watch that film, and then in the back half of the day, the coaches also have a breakdown of the film that they have from the teams before. So, but a lot of times it'll be broken down.
Yeah. So
if, for instance, if we play the Bengals on a Sunday, you have to have all the stuff in basically Friday-ish, because some coaches might start breaking down the run film on Friday night or Saturday before the game.
Before everybody say a week ahead of any of that.
Yeah. So, and then you're still watching stuff throughout the week, and if we have an 8:30 team meeting, the coaches are meeting at 7 to go over third downs or going over first downs or going over like the blitz pickup tape. And then after practice, the coaches are watching practice. When a lot of players watch practice after.
Right.
But the coaches will watch practice quick. And then sometimes, it depends. Sometimes the coaches will watch it with the players right after practice. Or, some coaches watch it in the morning. Or, you'll watch it with the players and then rewatch it with the coaches as a staff. And then you watch all that. And then you go back to now game planning what the plays are for the next day. So if I know it's pretty confusing right now, but
I like it though, man. Come on, baby, talk to me now.
So say if we play on a Tuesday, not play on a Tuesday, but like Tuesday's a player day off.
Right. So
Tuesday a player day off. Most likely the first, second down run and first, second down pass are installed. Right. Like the coaches know. So we already like that whole day. The coaches are watching film, breaking down film, and then the back half of the day they setting up the game plan. We're in place. I'm not the one doing that. I'm the one.
He said I've already done my work on the front end of this thing, getting all the stuff labeled up for the dudes, man.
And then, but everybody's still watching stuff, so they may say, hey, Matt, when you were watching the 49ers, we didn't play them, but you're watching the 49ers and they like to play cover 4. What type of cover 4 do they play? Do they play match? Do they play zone?
Okay.
Like
there's levels to it. There's different parts of it.
There's levels to it. And then it's like sometimes people, their whole game plan will be like this. And then they can have a small coaching change. They can have a small player change. And it'll change their whole thing for the rest of the season. So like, for instance, the Ravens, the first time we played them to the second time we played them, their whole back half of their secondary change, and the way that they play their cover 4. So they start playing more palms and things like that, while at the beginning of the year they was playing more 3 and going 0 blitzes and things like that. So the back half of the season, the Ravens defense ended up being a top 2 defense, while in the front half of the season,
absolutely,
there was
they struggled.
There was a 29th defense. So it's just you're watching that film and then you're breaking it down and trying to look back at. So like you can look at our first Ravens game, and then you look at that. But then if you go to our playoff game, we couldn't watch the Ravens our first game.
Just because it doesn't even make sense anymore what they do.
Study because it's not even the same type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. You have to like really evaluate that because you would think, a lot of people would think watching, just because you're playing the Ravens, they're doing the same stuff.
Oh, no.
And they change it a lot. And then you're kind of watching film all the time. Yeah. And you're kind of breaking stuff down all the time. And then, you know, as a coaches, you'll try to play 2 or 3 times, and then you'll see like, oh, that play is not successful for us, or that play is. And then the call sheets are huge, man. Like, they have these big call sheets, and there'll be like 30 run plays, right? Or, 40 run plays. And I'm gonna be honest, Arthur does a really good job of not having too much on people's plate.
Yeah.
But there's 30 run plays or 40 run plays. Think about it. Some games it's only 60 plays.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a big menu though, man.
But then it's like you might have. And then like how they break it down is like you have, play action pass, third down menu, fourth down menu, not fourth down menu, but like short yardage menu, goal line menu. Where like with us, our menu was real tight on defense. But you might have 20 plays on defense, right? It would be more, but like you have more in the archives.
Right. But in terms of what you actually call it on game day,
Yeah, but on the offensive side of the ball, you have a play for if they're running. If you think they're about to run man, zone, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, for like first down, for second down, for third down. So like if you're assuming like, all right, in this situation they run this coverage often. It might not be the same like
but
play,
you're feeling the percentage.
But this coverage. Yeah. So it might be, or they're gonna run cover 6. Yeah. Or they're gonna run cover 4. It's a variation of 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, you're expecting 4. And then you see it, you be like, oh, all right, cool. Like they're gonna line up in 4. If they do it enough, you be like, all right, cool. Like we're gonna play this play. This can end up being a home run. Right. And things like that. So it's like you prepare for all that type of stuff, and you like it's crazy. You have to prepare for every situation.
I'm gonna say offense sounds so different than how we talk on defense, how our bonds work on defense. I'm like, man, that is a massive menu, a lot of different plays, but it does make sense though for what they're trying to accomplish. Whereas for us on defense, we're more reactionary, or we're anticipating it, and it's like I'm gonna beat you to this spot, but we still don't know that you're gonna run this out, or you're gonna run this vertical route. You know what I mean? So,
but the thing is, that's really funny is everybody have tendencies, and it's just how you like disguise it.
Yeah.
But the tendencies all still the same. It's just how you disguise it. Yeah. Like for instance, Miami does a good job of doing a lot of motions. Everybody does a lot of motions now, but just the way they do their motions is they might build a formation on a run, or somebody might, like for instance, San Francisco. I know I'm not supposed to knock the mic.
Oh, you good, man?
San Francisco, they motion pretty much every play. But sometimes they might have a double motion, a triple motion. So, and then like they might motion one guy, then they might shift a guy, and then bring a guy, and then they building the same play that you think is going to be, but with them moving all these people, it's confusing people.
So it makes you process the information, and then if I get you for a split second, right?
Yeah,
that's what I got you.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and just to see how they build it. But but you have to have all that information because, for instance, like on defense, like you said, everything's reactionary. And I told people on the offense side, they're like, which one you think is harder if you was coaching? And to me, I was like, I think offense is harder. Yeah. And they were just like, man, defense is much harder. And I was like, how? And I was like, I'm like, defense, everything's after the ball. Yeah. So it's like, but it's like you're trying to teach guys how to react.
Okay. Whereas on offense, you're teaching them how, hey, this is what you need to do. Okay.
So you already know what you're doing on defense, while on offense, on defense, you really don't. Yeah. And but on defense, if you really lock down on your menu and understand what you're doing, every coverage can stop every play.
Oh yeah.
It just depends on if everybody's doing the things together. So that's the thing that's funny about offense and defense. So
yeah. No, I like that right there, man. Shout out to my dog too, man. Shout out to my dog. All right, man. I gotta ask you this too, man, because we know that you end up going to Ohio State, but talk to me about your recruitment process, man. Why Ohio State? I know there were a couple of other schools. What were your final 5 type list, man?
Yeah, my final 5. That's crazy. So when I think about it, because that's a good question. When I was getting recruited, I was pretty much recruited by everybody. I was a 4-star, but I was the number 3 linebacker in the country or something like that.
How are you a 4-star but the number 3 linebacker in the country? How does that work? Who doing the stars out here, man?
And
Get the stars right, man.
I was an 81st player. So with me being the 81st player, you can't have 85 stars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
but man, I'm like, God.
So
dog.
it was pretty cool though, because almost every day when people would come to the schools, a lot of times, like my school, we had a decent amount of guys. We didn't have a whole lot of guys, but at least 2 or 3 guys almost every year went kind of D1 or something like that. So
Let's go.
Yeah, so it was like we knew, like just in Fort Lauderdale in general, you just have a bunch of schools down there all the time because it's just so many.
Everybody nice down there. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool when they'd be like, hey, USC at the school or Florida at the school or Florida State at the school. I knew that eventually, like, if they was at the school, I'm going to be getting called into the coach's
He said,
office.
yo, they got to see me. If they showed up like this, it's only about the top. All right, don't trip. It's only about the top.
So I pretty much had like 45, 50 offers.
Let's go. Let's go.
It was kind of cool because at first I told myself I'm not going up north. I was like, I'm not going up north. It's too cold up there. And so pretty much I was like, the only way I'm going up north, like I said I would go west, but I wasn't going up north. Only way I was going to go up north is because if it was like Ohio State, like somebody that's definite, it has an opportunity to win the championship.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I'm not going to, at that time, Big Blue weren't good.
Right.
Like they were like, all right, but they weren't competing for the
They weren't, it wasn't like how it is right now.
Penn State way better now than they used to be. Like I know they was good with Joe Paterno, but like they way better now.
Yeah, I mean right here, you see what they just did this past year.
Yeah, they way better now. Then when it comes to like everybody else up there, Ohio State was winning the Big Ten like every year when I went there.
Yeah.
So that was the one school that's if I went anywhere. Then my other schools was LSU.
Les Miles the LSU during that time frame, right?
Yeah.
So come on, man.
It was Florida, LSU, Ohio State. It was North Carolina, but North Carolina got in trouble, so I pulled them back.
Okay.
And then I was looking at USC and Oregon, but the thing is with USC, I liked them, but they weren't that good at the time. I like UCLA a lot, but at that time, when you're a child, you thinking stupid stuff. I was like, man, like I'm not really rocking with them. They wear Adidas.
Honestly, that's not a negative. I've made some decisions off of that before.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't like your Adidas.
So like a lot of the schools I was looking at was like,
Nike.
y'all ain't no Nike school, so I ain't pulling up. You know what I'm saying? But like now I look back at life and I'm like, bro, Adidas is comfortable. Them boys mad comfortable. I ain't gonna lie, the year I got hurt, I was in negotiations with Nike, and I was like, yo, like man, I'm really feeling these Adidas. Y'all better stop playing.
Man. No. I remember when Long Dog used to wear the Adidas. She'd be like, yo, he's got the Adidas on, bro. Like,
bro. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I have videos of me working out in Adidas in the offseason and all, bro. And then I ended up going to the opening and we ended up figuring stuff out. Yeah. But I was when I was getting recruited, I was kind of, I was thinking. So, but what helped out a lot, my dad, he was huge in that process because when it came to just overall actually deciding the school, like he was like, man, you ain't even deciding no school based off of no shoe, so those were my top 5. But then I ended up going to Florida. Me and my family ended up driving to Florida. Florida just won national championship.
Yeah, this is during, because it's Urban Meyer time frame. So this is the Tim Tebow era. This is Percy Harvin, all them dudes, Pound Seed. Yeah, they going crazy down there.
They're going crazy.
Yeah.
So they just won national championship. And I end up, I played for this 7-on-7 team called South Florida Express. Okay. They're like one of the best 7-on-7 teams, like even to this day. Like they still win national championships, everything. Like they won the best team. Yeah. And we was like one of the first teams to win national championship. So we used to go visit a lot of schools. So my fault. Oklahoma was in my top 5.
Okay, shout out to this Bob Stoops over there then that time.
It was Bob Stoops,
right?
Yeah. I like Alabama, but I was just like, Nick Saban was keeping it real, but I was like, I don't know, because he was like, man, you could play, early as a freshman here. And I looked at their roster and I'm like, y'all got Dante Hightower and C.J. Mosley, and C.J. Mosley just played last year as a freshman.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm like, he just played last year as a freshman. Yeah. If he played last year as a freshman, and you got
how am I
Dante
about to
Hightower,
take me? Yeah.
how am I gonna play?
Yeah.
Like, but he meant like play. I'm thinking start.
Start, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I ain't really rocking with Alabama. Like, I don't know what Nick Saban talking about. But a lot of freshmen play for him a lot.
Yeah.
But then I end up going up to Florida. We went on a family visit, and I ended up committing to Florida. And I was committed to Florida for like a year and a half.
Dang.
Yeah, so like my whole junior year, I was committed to Florida. So
you was a Gator, man.
Yeah, I was committed to Florida for my whole junior year, then my senior year. And then, but like coaches would still come around and things like that. And then, but I never took no officials yet.
Okay.
But so this is late
My man
November.
committed without taking the official.
I was going on a bunch of
But you just chilling, yeah.
I was on a bunch of, and then with South Florida Express, the reason I said that is because we got to go to a bunch of unofficials, because when we was driving to the different states, we'd stop at the colleges.
Okay.
So I went to a lot of the SEC schools just on our road trip.
That's dope though, to be able to at least see it and get the exposure to it, man.
Yeah. So like I went to Florida State, Alabama, Florida. I used to go to Florida all the time. Yeah. Florida State, Alabama, LSU, all these schools a lot. So then, I remember I had a conversation with Urban at the time, and I was like, man, I want to go to visit Ohio State, not because I said this before I even but I was like, they about to play the team up north. I was like, man, I want to go play. Just go visit. Yeah. Because I never been out of the state of Florida.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I've been out of the state of Florida.
No, I get what you're saying though. Yeah.
I've been out of the state of Florida when it came to like I moved to Texas for like 3 years and I came back, and then I did a little like road trip. I was like, I ain't never been up north. Yeah. I never been out west. Yeah. So I was like, I just want to go visit just to check it out. I'm committed to Florida. Yeah. And then he was just like, nah, you committed, like I don't know how comfortable with Florida at the time. So then I was like, yeah, all right, cool. And then like a month later or so, he ended up retiring.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he ended up retiring. When he retired, the day he retired, Florida State and LSU were both. Ohio State and LSU were at my school, but they were already at the school. Yeah, they didn't know he retired until like they were there. It just so happened, man, and they were there. So literally, I talked to them, and I even had to talk to my dad, and I was just like, because normally I talk to my dad about everything. And I was like, yo, my recruitment open, and I was just like, man, I was supposed to be an early enrollee, so this December. So basically, I was like,
you feel like you right on the clock now, man.
I was like, like if I come, like I got to come now. Yeah. So basically, I ended up going to, so that he resigned. I don't know what day he resigned. It was like the 16th, 17th, something like that. It was around my brother's birthday. He resigned. The day he resigned, the next day, I was on a plane flight to LSU. Wow. And I was on LSU for the weekend. And I had a great time. I told my dad, I was like, man, I'm going to LSU. I love it here. And then I ended up going. And then he's like, you say you was gonna visit Ohio State, go check it out. You like before you make your decision. Right. And me and you talked about impulse and everything already. But he told him like, whatever you do, don't commit while you're there. Right. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll hold my promise to you. I'm not gonna commit while I'm there. And then I ended up going to Ohio State. My visit at Ohio State was not a good visit. And the reason I say that is because when I went, it was late January. It was late December. Ohio State was there one day because they did bowl practice and everything, and then they had to leave. So they did bowl practice, and then I think they left, or like it was the guys leaving and go on winter break or something like that. So then I only seen them practice one day, and back then Ohio State's was quarters. So the school, the whole school,
everybody's gone.
Yeah,
yep.
So it was freezing cold. It was like 10 degrees.
Say I'm by myself up here.
Nobody. By myself. But like the people that they put me with, DeVere Posey, who was at my event, he was one of them. Then Etienne Sabino, he lives in Florida. He's from Florida, and I knew him because he did the South Florida Express too. Yeah. So they were my hosts, and we had a good time. They took me out. We had a good time, and then I just started thinking about like, the coaches. And then the linebacker coach at the time was Luke Fickell. He's sending a lot of guys to the NFL at linebacker. And then Ohio State, they had Jim Tressel at the time. So it was like, I'm going to compete for a championship. And it's like, if you start at Ohio State at some point, you make it to the NFL.
Facts.
So, and that was even back then. So I was like, man, like, honestly, LSU was a good vibe, but, and I had pretty women and stuff, but like, I think the best spot for me is O State. Like, and I was like, I'm fast, if I play linebacker, they had a senior linebacker. So basically, I was going in, it was a senior linebacker, and then there was basically a freshman that was there. But it was a senior linebacker, and it was like space behind him.
Okay.
So then I was like, I
got an opportunity now.
Can compete.
I can see it.
I can compete. So if he once he leave, I can compete for this spot, and that could be my spot for 2 years. I wasn't tripping about starting my freshman year.
Okay.
A lot of people I want to start my freshman year. Me personally, especially at a school like Ohio State, it's like I don't need to start my freshman year because at the end of the day I can learn from him. And I didn't play linebacker in high school. I played DN. So it was like I had to learn the position. So it was like, man, they give me time to learn it. But then also, a lot of times, if you're going to a school and you're the starter, you're the best thing they have at the moment.
Yeah.
You always, it don't matter who you are, NFL, not NFL, the job is always to get somebody that's going to eventually be better than you or to out-recruit you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you the cream of the crop as a freshman, you know what I'm saying? That's the best you got. You don't have nobody challenge you to get better. So that's kind of where I was like, man, I can compete with this dude. This dude start so I can see what he does and I can kind of work my way up.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like me and my dad talked about that. Like
That's a smart plan,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? But a lot of people just I want to start right now.
Yeah.
It's like, just because you start right now don't mean you developing.
It's the instant gratification, you know that. Yeah. Hey, if I'm going to start it today, that means I've made it. I've arrived. I'm going to get to go. And it's like, bro, that can hurt you when it hurt you. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, that, like, you can become complacent, you know, and that really helped me out. And then, so I played at every game at Ohio State. Like, even my freshman year, I played, like, my first game, I got a sack. But
I mean, your first start, you go for 12, 15 tackles in the joint, man. But yeah, bro, it's just crazy.
Yeah, so it was so crazy is that same season, I played in every game. And, so I'm going to get back to the recruiting part. My fault.
You good.
But so when I signed, I had Tressel and I got there early. And then once I got there, all the stuff went down with Terrell.
Yeah.
And when all that stuff went down, you know, Coach Tressel had to leave. So pretty much I went there thinking everything was smooth, and literally like a bomb blew up. Like it was just
I'm like, yo, for the time you take your trip, you go there, and then this, I'm like, Ohio State seemed rocky, man, for you at the beginning of this experience, man.
Yeah, bro, it was rocky. And then it's like, I think I could have transferred because I just got there, and
with the coach leaving,
leaving immediately, and it was and how he left, I probably could have left.
Yeah,
but I went there more for Coach Fickle because me and my dad talked a lot. He was like, Ryan, you're gonna spend more time with your position coach
than you would
and your strength coach than the head coach. So, and I was like, I'm rocking with Coach Fick. Coach Fick got the job.
Yeah.
And then he brought in Coach Vrabel. And then Coach Vrabel was my linebacker coach. And then I had Coach Fick. I still was cool with him.
Fire. You had Vrabel at your man.
It just, what to me, what sucks for Coach Fick was that he got O State. That's probably his dream job still to this day. But then he got dealt a 2 and a 3, a 2 of heart and a 3 of clubs when he playing blackjack, when he playing poker.
I'm with you.
It's like, bro, you got dealt a shitty hand.
Yeah, this is bad news for you, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And for in poker, you can at least throw the hand in. It's like nobody throwing that hand in. You got it like
you stuck
that's
with
his
it
one. That's his one chance. But the starting quarterback suspended, starting running back suspended, starting receiver suspended, starting tackle suspended.
Yeah, and expectations are still here. Also,
you know, so
that doesn't change.
So we had a senior quarterback, but like he didn't really play because Terrell played the whole time.
It's Terrell Pryor. We know it.
You know, so then the running back was Carlos Hyde, which was cool, but you know he was still young at the time. So it was just he had a bunch of young guys out there playing ball in the Big Ten. Yeah. So we ended up going 6-6, and you know when us going 6-6, that wasn't really the Ohio State standard. So then Urban came, and then when Urban came, you know we went 12-0, and you know Ohio State went back up.
Hey, look, what's that first phone call like when Urban comes back? Hey, Shay, now I know I told you not to take that visit to Ohio State back in the day, but now I'm be your head coach of here. So I'm actually glad you took that trip. What's going on, man? You remember me?
He was like, hey, man, Ryan, it's good to see you, man. I knew I was going to coach you eventually. I was like, what? I was like, man, that's crazy. Nah, but honestly, to this day, like, even if I called him right now, he'll probably pick up. We have a great relationship. But when he first said that to me, I'm like, man.
I had this plan the whole time. You knew this. It's all in the books,
like,
man.
You should have told me. Transferred in or something.
No, you obviously are at Ohio State, man. You're dominant, man. 3 years there. You're a 2-time Big Ten, All Big Ten, and you're All-American during that process. Yeah. It's time to make that decision to go pro. Take us through it, man, and ultimately your NFL draft story. Most of us think we going early and we go later. All right, a lot of us story. All right, but did you happen to think you were going to go earlier than 15th overall, man? Yeah.
So what's crazy is I had like 144 tackles or 150 tackles in my second year. So I was like, man, like I had a really good season.
Say, my second year I did that.
Yeah, I was like, man, I had a really good season. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, if I have anything close to a season like this again, I'm leaving. I was like,
y'all already having them talks. That's big, bro. Oh man.
It was like if my season, I don't care what nobody say. If my season anything close to this, next year I'm leaving. And then, but I told him, I was like, but obviously you got to put your draft grade in. I was like, but I was like, my draft grade is third. If they say I'm gonna go third or higher, like first or whatever, then I'm leaving. Yeah. But like if they say third or lower, then I'm like I'm gonna stay another year. So I had my whole season. Things went well. Went All-American, and I put in my draft grade, and before we went to the bowl game, and my draft grade came back and said it said the latest I'll go is second round.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
it's over.
Yeah, so it said the latest I'll go a second round. So I told my dad, I was like, Dad, like, we had this conversation before. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's kind of funny is I told my dad, and I was talking to one of the guys at Ohio State, and this was when I first got to Ohio State. This dude named Orion Johnson. I haven't talked to him in a while, but he was one of the guys that kind of looked out for me. Yeah. And when I first got there, he was like, man, you a dog, bro. He was like, man, if you just lock in for 1,000 days, bro, you might really
could do something special.
You really could do something special.
Yeah.
And I was like, I bet I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna lock in for 1,000 days. 1,000 days is 3 years.
I think I already know what you're doing. I already know. Like,
so I was
know what that is.
So I locked in for 1,000 days, bro. And I was like, man, I'm gonna give everything I got. And I did. And I told my dad, like, yeah, man, we had this conversation. He said no later than the second round. I was like, man, like, I felt like I did everything I need to do here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, obviously I could still want to get a degree. It would have been nice to win that championship. We ended up going 24-0 and losing the Big Ten championship. But like, and they, then they win that championship next year, which is crazy, my senior year. But it's, I'm happy for them.
24 games on a row, bro. Just think like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And then, so we end up, and then now, like, if we would have did that, we would have still been able to go to the playoffs. But back then, they didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we end up, so when I end up telling my dad, I was like, man, I'm going to be honest, Coach, me and Dad, I'm about to tell Coach Meyer now. Like, I'm about to tell him before the bowl game. Because I'm like, I'm going to play in the bowl game.
But I already know what I'm on,
I already know what I'm on. Like, I'm not changing my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't no ifs, ands, and buts. Like, I am not. Like, and then a lot of guys was like, no, man, you and Coach Meyer are so close, man. You probably going to stay another year. I was like, man, I love Coach Meyer. I love Ohio State. But I think this is the best decision for me.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, I don't think you should tell him. I'm like, I'm telling him. So I ended up, we was at bowl practice one day. He didn't make me practice like that time. And then I ended up going to him middle of practice. We was in practice. Like, but it was just like, bowl practices are more chill. So it was just like in practice. He had the young guys like practicing. And it was more chill. And he was just talking to me. He had his arm around me. He was like, man, how you doing? And I'm feeling good. And I was like, hey, Coach, I just want to keep it real with you. Like, I love you. I love this school. But I'm just letting you know, after this draft, I got my draft grade back. I'm leaving. Yeah. And then he was like, man, we can have this conversation, after the game. And, and I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. So after the game, he said, hey, Ryan, he's like, I'm going out of town. I got a recruiting trip. then I'll be back on like we played on like a Saturday or something. We played on January 1st. It was the Orange Bowl or something like that. And he's like, I'll be back on the 4th. I was like, hey, coach. Because the game was at the Orange Bowl.
Baby.
I was like, the game was at the Orange Bowl. I was like, coach, all my stuff is already down here.
Don't worry about me, coach.
I'm like, coach, I'm not coming back with you.
Say, coach, you said you recruit this weekend. You might want to go get you a linebacker, coach. You might want to go find you one of them dudes. All right, man.
Nah, they had one already. They had Darren Lee.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and but it was just. I told him, like, hey, coach, man, I love it, but I already got all my stuff down here. Yeah. I'm not even coming on the plane with y'all. Go back. It's like you got to think about it. My house where I grew up was 20 minutes from the stadium.
Okay, so
it was just like we literally played a game where I'm home at.
Yeah,
and then I was like, yo, and I'm already signed up to go to IMG. Like, I already have my training.
So you got everything set up.
Yeah.
So you trained in Florida as well, the IMG.
I trained at Bradenton.
Okay. Yeah. So you right. Yeah.
So
I'm not going back to Ohio State today.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna come and get my stuff.
Me,
like my car.
Yeah.
But all my other stuff is down here. So and that's kind of how things went.
Nah, I could dig that, man. So now you get to the league, man, in 2016. It's your first time getting named to that Pro Bowl. Man, just take us through a little bit of what that experience was like for you. And at what point did it start to shift for you as a player, man? Because I know from my perspective, watching you being your teammate during that time frame, it's like, yo, we felt like it was a shift. We're like, yo, he's no longer regular, right? He's like a coach out there, man. He checking calls. He doing his whole thing, man. You go get big turnovers. Like, what was it about that year, man, that kind of like had that thing shift for you, man?
Yeah, that joint definitely changed in 2016, bro. So it was a couple things that changed, but it's kind of crazy because it was just kind of like my habits and how I kind of approach everything.
Yeah.
The first 2 years, like I knew I was good. I watched film a lot at Ohio State, but I didn't really watch film as much. Like when I was at Ohio State, I used to stay up late and watch film. Like how I watched it here, like most guys after practice, like we practice in the afternoon. I don't know what y'all did at JMU, but we practice in the afternoon.
Same.
So by the time we done with practice will be done at 5, 6, and then, guys will go home. Then you got study hall and all that type of stuff. So like I'll do all that study hall and stuff, and then I'll be done around like 7 or 8. And then my teammates will go back to the room. I'll go back to the Woody and watch film.
Man, getting it in.
Yeah, so I'll like watch an hour or 2 hours of film.
Yeah, I get
it. But I didn't do that my first year in the league. So my first year in the league, I didn't do that. Then my second year, I started watching a little bit more film with Will Allen and Will Gay because I was like, man.
Shout out to the vets, man. Yeah. Shout out to the guys.
And then I was like, man, like, yeah, man, I feel better doing that. But I started getting through. I still had some injuries and stuff. Then my third year, I was starting to watch film more. Then I went to go work out with James.
Shout out to Debo.
Yeah. I went to work out with James my third year, and I ended up like just overall, like I got stronger, so I felt better. But then I also started to know how to take care of my body because I saw the stuff that he was doing. Yeah. So I was taking care of my body.
Take the trip to AZ one time, man. Learn from the guy.
Yeah.
All right.
So then, but at the time as well, I had hired my best friend to be my trainer, and his name Jerome.
Shout out.
And the thing that's so funny with Jerome is everybody know their friend group. Everybody know the friend that's a F up. Everybody know the friend that say he gonna do something, not gonna do it. Everybody know the one that's dead serious. Everyone knows the one that's gonna joke around.
Yeah.
And Jerome out of my friend group is the one that's dead serious. He say he gonna do something, he doing it. Yeah. So I was like, hey man, like I think I really might want you to be my trainer. Would this be something that you're interested in? Because he majored in like kinesiology or something.
Okay, yeah.
So then he was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna look into it. And so I was like, man, I really want you to. So can you come train out here with me when I'm working with James? So then he started coming out with me, James. And then, but I still want to work out during the regular season. So then I end up having him move to Pittsburgh. Then he ended up moving to Pittsburgh, and I started working out in the mornings. So me and him work out in the mornings, and we started working out in the mornings at like 6. Because our meetings was at 9. That means at 8:30 now. Our meetings at 9. So we'll work out at 7, and then I get to the facility at 8.
Jeez.
And I'll watch film from 8 to 9. Right? So then I was like, man, I like this. I'm watching film. But I was watching film with Mike Mitch at the time. So like Will Gay and Will Allen would help me a lot at first. And then I started watching film with Mike Mitch. And I was like, hey, man, Mike, man, like, put some run tape on, you know, because he was a safety. He
was always coverage, yeah.
He was always coverage. And then, like, I would watch, like, probably, like, you know, the first 2 or 3 weeks with him. And I was like, put some run tape on. He was like, man, I'll put run tape on when you get in before me. That's what he said.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so then he like.
Shout out, yeah.
So basically, he was just like, nah.
Yeah, I already dig it.
Yeah. So
you want to watch run tape, you get in here before me. Then go watch what you want to watch.
Yeah, right. So basically, then, like, I think the next week, I was like, all right. So I ended up telling Jerome, hey, you cool? We can start working out a little earlier. So we ended up working out earlier, and I got in at 7. And then I'll watch a film an hour before Mike got in.
Man.
And then he'll be watching it at 8.
Yeah.
And so we'll be watching, but then now, like, I'm controlling the thing, but we watch what he want to watch at 8.
Right.
So then I was like, man, I like this a lot. And I started making more plays. And then, like, halfway through the season, I'm like, hey, Jerome, let's go up an hour earlier. So then we'll start working out at 5. I get to the facility at 6.
Yeah.
So I'm watching film from 6 to 9 every day.
Bro.
And then so that helped me out tremendously. And then I just start really locking in. And when I start watching, because every day I'll watch this, like watch certain things, and then I start seeing people's tendencies, and I'm like, all right, first, second down, they do this. But I'm watching 3 hours of it, and then I'll go back, and then every Friday after Winning Edge, me and Coach T, no, it wasn't Friday, we'll have Winning with Edge. Then every Saturday after the walkthrough or before the walkthrough, me and Coach T would like break down how him and Butts like to call games. So then he'll tell me like, all right, this is what he's thinking. And then he'll tell me like, all right, I want you to watch film and then you call out basically like you actually call. Like, what would you call?
Man.
So then I started doing that by myself. And then on like Saturday nights, we'll be doing stuff. And then I'll be watching film and I'll be like, Sam Fire Zone on this one or cover 3. Like I'll actually like call the plays as if we'll call them.
Wow. And
then people wristband, y'all had like, y'all had this regular plays on it. Then I had like the whole playbook. So it was just, but me and Coach T would like talk about that type of stuff. And then even in the training camp, I tell Coach T like my goals and stuff like that. Then he'll tell me, hey, Ryan, like if that's the goals you're trying to set, if whenever you making calls and things like that, think about like what's best for your teammates when you're making calls. Always think about what's best for your teammates when you're making calls. All the stuff that you're thinking about, like that stuff will happen if you just try to do what's best for your teammates. And what's so crazy is like that's when I'll start being on the field. Because once I knew the playbook, I was just like this.
Right.
Because in that 3 hours, Denzel would send me the plays the night before. So when I'm watching the film.
Shout out to Denzel, who's now the outside linebackers coach out there, man. Right. Heck yeah, dude.
It's
Heck
crazy.
Yeah.
So he'll send me the night. Like, so when I was telling you about the coaches, when we up all night discussing plays, when they done with the plays, he's sending the night before. So when I wake up in the morning, I got the plays, and then I used to draw out every play on my notebook. And then write down like, all right, in this coverage, I got this. In that coverage, I got this.
Meticulous, man. Yeah.
So like I was when I played, I was super meticulous. Like and then so by the time everybody got the butts, already watched all the film that he about to put up there, already got all the plays. So then you remember like sometimes they'll be like, oh, we're doing this and that. And then I used to be like, yo, like, because I already
ahead of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'll do that. And then I'll just check the plays. And then when Coach said in the summer, make a play call, or if you checking a play, or make it as if somebody's in a situation, or he'll say before practice. And in training camp, we used to talk almost every day before practice. It would be like short. He do it with quarterbacks too. And he'll be like, all right, today, Ryan, we're going to have 2 minutes, but Butts ain't going to give you no calls.
So you make it every day.
Yeah, but he didn't do it every day. Yeah. But he'll be like, hey, we're going to do 2 minutes, but you making the calls. Or he'll be like, hey, Ryan, like, today I'm going to need you to bring more energy today. Or today I'm going to need you to just be pissed off on somebody.
Yeah.
You know, just to like help.
He challenging you, finding different ways to make you a better player and help you elevate your teammates.
Yeah. So then if I was out there and I just see AB, if we in Buster and I see TJ out there and there's AB out there.
Please save us.
Yeah.
Save us.
So before, people didn't really have to,
we're gonna do it. You stuck with it.
So then I look and I'm like, yo, this is a terrible play call. Yeah. Hey, so then I'll be like, hey, Sam fire zone. So now TJ blitzing
and now you got the coverage on it. It's different.
Yeah, but a lot of times I'll put myself in terrible coverage to be able to let TJ blitz or something, or give somebody else like Chicolo opportunity. Like, cause like I might not be able to cover AB, but if I'm just in the way,
you're going to do a way better job of covering him than Chick, TJ, me, or anybody else during that time.
Yeah,
frame, man.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So it allowed me to be able to let y'all do what y'all good at, get in the way. And then if I'm just in the way, I could tip it or something, or I can just be a big area to let somebody get a sack. Or, for instance, if I hear them checking to me, then, Vince can blitz or something like that. Yeah. So, like, and then me and him used to watch film in the morning together, too. So
Shake and bake, man.
Yeah, that used to help us a lot, so.
No, I like that right there, man. It makes sense why you went from here. You left us. You was like, yo, he's up there now. He's in the heavens. That's it.
But it just
got the glow going on, man.
Nah, bro, it just because at the beginning of the year, me and Coach T would talk, but then we were talking training camp. But then throughout the year, I got just challenged by Mike because he was just like, "Hey, just come in earlier." Man. If he never said that, I don't think I would know. I'll be good, but
but
that doesn't help me.
Shout
and
out, man.
Then the next year, I was doing all that stuff the whole time.
Yeah.
So it was just I was ready.
That's what we say, yo. He's a coach on the field, bro. It's like, yo, we was here for 4 years. Nobody was checking that before. Shay started. Yeah, we checking this card. Like, he got the juice. He doing it in games. Yo, he real now. Yeah, it's real.
And it was kind of cool because I did a few times in the preseason, and it made it feel alive because, Coach T seen it, Butt seen it, and then sometimes when I'll make checks, especially when I'll make some checks, like we'll get turnovers or like we'll get plays happening. Yeah. So then it's like, all right, well, at least he know what he doing.
Right, you validate it. Yeah.
But if you out here checking stuff and they score a touchdown, hey, bro,
don't you ever again.
Hey, shut up. Don't talk. And then sometimes it's good to be able to do that because if you. The biggest thing is a lot of times coaches don't give people the ability to do that because a lot of dudes, they're going to check to what they want it to be.
Yes.
Instead of checking to what the coaches are thinking or what's good in the situation.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing.
It's almost selfless, even though as the outsiders, we view it as like, yo, you got full autonomy. You got the sticks. But you're looking at it as, man, I'm going to check this because it's going to help you out. It's going to help you out.
Yeah, or it's just like, this is a bad defense.
Right, you see what I mean?
Like I can see we called a play, and it's like we're in cover 2 because we're thinking they about to pass. Now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, yo, no, they're about to run the ball right now.
We need somebody else.
I watched the film. Like, I understand the personnel, but they're about to run the ball. Hey, check 3. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, the first few times I did it, everybody's like, oh, what are you doing?
What you doing? Yeah,
but then people started like, always had their P's and Q's on now, and it's like, all right, cool. And that's why I was able to do that at that moment because we was practicing it and we'll do it in the game.
Yeah.
Coach Bus didn't like when you do it in practice that much because obviously you trying to tailor stuff.
Yeah, he want a certain look. Yeah.
But after a while, it was like, all right, it makes sense. So.
Yeah. Now I could dig that, man. Definitely could dig that. Now, obviously, you talked about the role of or the relationship with Coach Tomlin as the coach. How different is it now, man? What you working for him though, as the senior or as the offensive assistant and everything, man?
No, it was pretty cool. Just being able to work with Coach T. The thing is, as Coach T, as a coach, I feel as a player, when I played, I actually got to interact with him a little bit more,
right?
Because at the end of the day, when you're working, the head coach is like the CEO. So. And I was the mailman. So it's just like basically like
I was the mailman. Yeah,
I ain't gonna say the mailman, but basically it's like, if you have a relationship with the CEO and you the mailman, you can go say what's up to him and talk to him about things on your mind. But you know, and I'm not saying a mailman, but
No,
you
but
know,
we get
like
what you're saying in the context of it. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But it just there is a what is it called? There's a hierarchy,
chain of command
there's
type
a
thing.
chain of command.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling the type of way, you need to go through the chain of command.
Yeah, you can't just go directly to the
him.
boss. Yeah.
So that was something, you know, as a player,
Oh yeah, you just
there still
pull
is a
up on
chain of
them,
command, but you know, as a player, sometimes if you feel like, man, I might go talk to Coach T about this, you're gonna
Yeah, you can go talk to them.
yeah, you know, so that was one thing, and it was I learned that, but then also you just know that, and then when it comes to watching Coach T, it's cool to see how he delegates and allows people to find their role and find out ways to, you know, lead a group or get the best out of a group. Yeah. Because he does a good job on the coaching side and the playing side, just seeing how everybody reacts to different stuff and putting pressure on them, because he puts pressure on the coaches as well as he puts pressure on players. So he's really good at that type of stuff, and it was pretty cool to watch him be able to do that.
No, without a doubt, man. Like I said, just seeing that dynamic, man, I'm like, y'all could only imagine what it's like on the coaching side. Yeah. But we obviously know, man, 2017 you have the injury. But I want to talk, man, a little bit more about the hoodie you got on right there, man. Your Ryan Shazier Fund for Spinal Rehabilitation. Take us through the inspiration behind it, the work that you guys have currently done or they've already done, and then the work that you guys are going to be doing going forward as well, man.
Yeah, so I started this fund, and this is 5 years now. I don't know the exact date we started. Yeah. It's 5 years now, but I started because of my injury. And a lot of people, when they go through some type of injury, they go through some type of pain, some type of situation, they always look back at, why me? What am I going through? They're pretty sad. But when I was going through this situation, I was reading this book at the time, and it was actually called The Traveler's Gift. It's actually a really good book by Andy Andrews. I'm actually reading it again right now. And it just talks about a lot of people when they're going through stuff, they're always saying, why me? But you have to think about it, like, why not me? If you're saying why me, then you're basically saying, why not you? You know, why, you know, so.
Yeah, should have been somebody else then type thing. Yeah.
So I was thinking about that, and I was reading Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle's the Way, and I started seeing that it was other people going through the same issues as me, but I was tremendously blessed because of just the resources and the access I had. Like Roger Goodell came to my hospital room. You know how many people will pray for that? Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger, Arthur Moats, Art Rooney. You know what I'm saying? Like TJ, everybody.
We was jam-packed in it with you, baby. You already know what's
But it was just like to have that much access, to have people that really care about you in there. Man, it's a blessing. And I was getting about 2 to 3 sessions of rehab a day. The average person with a spinal cord injury gets max, if you have excellent insurance, it's about 60 sessions of rehab. So, so they give the same amount of rehab to a person with a broken wrist as they do a person with a spinal cord injury. So, so that just gives you the, like, that, you know, it just gives you chills, you know. So to me,
especially you think of the severity of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So to me, I just like, man, I started asking questions like, hey, why is Moats not here? I understand people are not going to be there as much as me. I had the opportunity to get extra rehab. But when I would see, like, man, he's only here once a week, and then he'll be here once a week or twice a week, but he's done before me too. When I'm saying 60 is the max. Some people have 15,
right,
20,
just based off the insurance,
30,
like you said. Yeah.
So I was blessed with that. So I'm asking, like, yo, why is Jeremy not in here right now? Why is Chris not in here? And it was like, man, Ryan's just, some people aren't blessed with the resources. To do that. You know, so I was like, man, all right, so what can they do? Is like the average rehab session is around $500 a session. It's hard for people to make $500 a session. You know, so it was just, I was like, man, what is ways that I can help? And so I talked to some people that I was close to, and I wanted to be able to give back to that community and find ways to bring awareness to it. And now we have the fun. I'm really excited about it. This like you heard this most at the event, but in April we just surpassed giving over $1 million in funds to individuals with spinal cord injuries. So
let's go.
We have different programs. One is the Ryan Time, where I talk to somebody individual on the FaceTime or in person, and just kind of uplift them, help them out, just talk to them about whatever is on their mind or whatever they're going through. Then we also have the Golden Window Program. The Golden Window Program is a stipend that we give individuals up to $15,000 to allow them the independence they need. So if they need more rehab, then it's rehab. If they need more, if they need, like, for instance, an elevator in their home, we'll put an elevator in their home. If they need to widen their doors or
things that people don't even think about, you know what I mean? Because, hey, normally, why would I need the widen door? But if you got wheelchairs, it's like, you got to have that type of access, man. 1,000%, man.
Yeah, because most, I can imagine your kid's room is probably on the second floor.
Yeah.
So there were people that we had to help, their kids' rooms were on the second floor, but they're in a wheelchair, and they have a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old, or a 10-year-old, not 4-year-old, 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, and he had to be able to make sure that they still went to sleep, make sure that they weren't just acting up out there. So we'll put an elevator in his house so he'll be able to still put his kids to sleep.
Man.
We help people put different accommodations in their house and their vehicles. So it's just kind of what you deem what you want. For me, I would want a more rehab. But for somebody else, that's allowing them independence to be able to go in their house and help their children go to sleep and just be available. Yeah. So it's been a blessing. And then we also have a caregiver network where we help out the individuals and their families, because when somebody has spinal cord injury, they're not the only one dealing with it. So we just want to make sure that we provide the right resources for them as well, because being a caregiver is just like a parent. It's a full-time job. You don't really get to say, I don't want to do it no more. And most of them don't really have a choice. So
No, that's real, man. And like you said, just being down there at your event, man, seeing how y'all are, I mean, I saw it was like the van y'all were altering, and then it's like the inside the bedrooms, the different things. So it's like not just so they can live, but they can also enjoy themselves. Like you had different things. Oh, you want to go hiking? Well, this type of wheelchair you use for that. All right, if you want to go do this, all right, we got custom things for this. The basketball wheelchair. I'm like, bro, like that is crazy to me because you don't even think about it. But then you see the cost of some of that stuff as well. And it's like, man, that's why what you do it is such a dope thing, man. So big time kudos to you, man.
No, I appreciate it. The sad part about it is a person living with a spinal cord injury, within the first year, the costs are normally almost up to $1 million.
That's crazy, man.
Average
person ain't pay that, man.
The average person might not see $1 million in a very long time.
No, seriously, man.
And then,
might take 20 years. Yeah,
for the average person. And I remember I was talking to my mom before. I was like, man, do you think we made $1 million in our lifetime when I was like a kid? And my mom was like, I don't think so yet. Yeah. So
I know my folks.
sis.
We ain't seen no Millie.
Yeah, so it's just to think about that. And then over a lifetime, it's over 50%, over 5 million. And then the divorce rate is a lot higher.
Yeah. It's such a stressful situation on top of it.
You got to think about it. Divorce rate in America is over 50% already.
And so that's just standard. Yeah.
So then with that, is the finances, the divorce, mental health. Pretty much everybody with a disability has mental health and depression issues. I still go through it here and there. So it's just because you got to think about it. I tell people all the time. With me personally, a lot of people, just it sounds bad, but a lot of people when they have to stop something or they retire, somebody. Or they found out they're not good enough no more, or somebody told them they're not good enough. I never got to, or they just wanted to stop. Most people, they don't get to retire when they want, but most, that's the people that say they want to stop. I never got the opportunity to do none of those. I never got the opportunity to see if I was not good enough no more. Yeah. I never got the opportunity to see if I wanted to stop. And I never got the opportunity for somebody to tell me you're not good enough no more. Yeah. So for me, it was a struggle because I went from where you're saying like, man, Ryan, you up here to like, everybody's like, man, you would have did this, you would have did that. It's all assumptions now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just that could be depressing to me. So when it's so much other stuff that other people deal with as well. So I'm really happy that we have that, and we have retreats and things like that as well.
Not without a doubt. And like you said, man, we're going to keep supporting you over here, man.
Yeah,
I love what you're doing, man. Because like you said, seeing it on your side, just on the individual part, is like, man, I know what that was from just my perspective of it, man. So, yeah, we like, man, keep doing that thing. Because like you said, everybody has that opportunity, man. But shout out to Ohio State, though, right? I mean, your Buckeyes took care of business this past season, winning the national championship. Did you get a chance to check out any of the games, man? Playoff stuff like that, man?
So, obviously, I didn't get to check any games out during the season.
Right.
So, with the playoffs, I wanted to be able to make sure I got to spend some time with my kids.
Yeah.
So, I ended up watching the games in Texas with my kids. Yeah. And then the national championship game, I ended up watching it here at home. I love going down to those events. I love spending time and being at those events. But, man, they can be pretty costly.
Yeah.
Costful. So, or expensive. Let me say it like that. Expensive. So it's I just wanted to enjoy the moment. I didn't want to spend no unnecessary money that I didn't need to spend. So I just kind of enjoyed it. I had a good time, and and I was just as happy as anybody at that stadium. I just didn't go.
No, I love that right there, man. Now, with that being the case, we do got to ask about two of your guys, though, man. Will Howard, Jack Sawyer, not anything NFL related, but just strictly, their Ohio State time. What'd you see about them, man? Or did you have any type of, relationship with those dudes, being that you're an alum from the university?
So I know Jack's a good dude, and then I don't know Will, but when Ohio State got Will, a lot of people was like, "Why we got Will Howard?" And I didn't know Will personally, but I knew what to say about him.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he's a winner.
Yeah.
I think even Omar said that in his interview, or Coach T said that in the interview.
Yeah.
But I was even telling people that before he got drafted. Wow. I was just like, the one thing that you can say about Will Howard is that he's a winner. I understand he lost 2 games this year, and I know a lot of people talk about when he slid and all that type of stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with the team up north game. I'm gonna put that one on the play calling a little bit more. Than Will. I feel like Will's trying to run the ball when our strength was more in the air. Mm-hmm. And I understand our strength. We had 2 running backs get drafted, but there was a stat that said whoever wins the run game in that game wins the game 90% of the time. Yeah. So their strength, they had 2 guys get drafted in the top 20.
Mm-hmm. Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, it's like they have 2 guys get drafted in the top 20. I'm not running the ball.
Yeah, hey, look, one's in the A gap, one's in the B gap. Yeah.
And their top 2 corners were both.
Will injured. Johnson. Oh, yeah.
So just, to me, I feel like at that moment, that's when you gotta throw it. Yeah. So, I love Ryan Day, so I'm not saying hating on him, but everybody make mistakes here and there. You know what I'm saying? So
that's real.
Like I make mistakes. So Coach Myers said, when we lost to Michigan State, he should have gave Carlos the ball. You know what I'm saying? When they lost to Michigan State before, he said he should gave Zeke the ball. So it's just everybody have mistakes, and it happens. Yeah. So, but one thing about Will, a lot of people don't realize, before he went to Old State, he won the Big 12 championship at Kansas State. And the funny thing about it at Kansas State, that's when Texas and Oklahoma was still in the Big 12. Yep. So the thing I try to tell people is like, bro, Will, he's a winner. Dog, yeah. He's a winner. Uh-huh. Like Kansas State, they ain't got the dogs that Oklahoma and
not at all.
And not Texas at all. Got. No, they ain't got that. But he figured out how to win it. So to me, I got a lot of respect for Will. And then when it comes to Jack, he's a guy that's a hard worker, bro. Like he's a 5-star coming out, but he's a guy that was a hard worker. Yeah. And, he grind for everything he get. And he a good person. So it's really good that we got them. And then both of them was captains for the team.
Right. So that's the thing. I see them like that.
I think
leaders.
I think that's something good to have on our team, because we have a young team on the defensive side. We have a lot of leaders, but I just think in general, as our team gets older, we need some younger leaders, and I think both of those guys can be that.
Yeah.
So
I could dig that right there, man. Got a couple more questions too, man, before we get up out of here. But obviously, man, you brought it up earlier with, when you went to Ohio State, how they were kind of transitioning. We obviously know with Terrell Pryor, Tressel, how everything played out. But now we've seen it shift with name, image, and likeness, NIL. Just what's your perspective on how that currently is in comparison to, what y'all had the experience been on the front end of this thing before it became NIL and it was all cool.
No, I wish, I ain't gonna lie, I wish I had NIL.
I must say, man, yeah, you might would have stayed a little longer, maybe.
Yeah, no.
She said, no, I'm good. Hey, I was out.
Nah, I've been out. Nah, you seen what Jeremiah Smith said. Man, I plan on doing this 3 more years. No, 2.
2.
Hey, that boy went. That boy, hey, 2. Hey, that boy made sure they knew. Hey, that interview was over. Nah, 2.
Yeah.
Hey, but,
just in case. Yeah.
No, but to me, I'm happy for those guys. To me, it was something that I was really sad to see that a lot of people are upset how much money people are making. What I do believe, there should be some type of. I don't think there should be a players union or whatever.
Okay.
But it's hard for me to say that because I do feel that everybody should get paid. I do feel like everybody should get the most they can get.
Right.
But when you get player unions and things like that as well, that's when everybody think everybody should get the same amount. Mm-hmm. And to me, a kid like Jeremiah Smith shouldn't get the same amount of money as a kid at Robert Morris.
I dig it, bro. I went to JMU. I feel you. Because I'm like, hey, man, I was a small school guy, but that's real. That's real,
but
man.
Like, I do feel like guys at JMU, if you can get a mill, if you can get
if you can get it, go get it.
Go get it. Mm-hmm. The one thing I don't like, though, for real, is the transfer aspect of it because guys can just constantly leverage what somebody else is giving them. So, to me, like in business, it's nice to leverage, but just to leverage every year, just in business and life, it doesn't really teach you much. It doesn't really allow you.
You don't build a relationship either.
Yeah, you don't build a relationship. Like, for instance, also another thing that it kind of shows you, like, for instance, the first round pick and the second round pick of the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, both of them decided to not do rookie minicamp because their contract not signed. Yeah. But it's like, your contract's protected as a rookie.
What are you tripping on?
What are you tripping on?
Mm-hmm. So, and you can't change the it's like, you know what your slot is already.
Yeah, you know what your slot is. You know how much money you're making. The biggest thing is when it comes to first rounders is like, are you going to get all your money up front? Are you going to get it throughout the year? Are you going to get it through multiple years?
Right, they giving you bonus this year. It's going to be one in March. It's going to be hitting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just depending on when you're going to get your bonus money.
Yeah.
But everybody else that's getting drafted, you're all making the same amount of money. You just your signing bonus.
It's your bonus. That's it.
Yeah, that's different. So, but to me, it's just like if you got hurt in this game, this practice, that negotiation is still the same amount of money. It ain't changing. Yeah. So to me, I think that's the aspect of NIL and transfer because it's like guys are so focused on like their money now. And not just the love of the game. It's not as many guys, in my opinion, that love ball as much as we did. Yeah. It's not a lot of guys.
You couldn't get any early access legally, you know what I mean, to any compensation. So it was like, you really just doing this because I want to be great. I got to make it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to make it there. Like my goal was to make 100. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, when people talk about money, it was like, oh, you gonna make money. But when I used to play, I was just like, bro, the money gonna come, bro.
Yeah, if I do what I'm supposed to do here.
What I'm supposed to do. If you're the best, if you're a top 5 in your position, you're gonna be paid top 5.
Yeah,
you top 10 in your position, you're getting paid top 5.
10. But I get what you're saying though. Heck yeah. Like, you got to be one of the top dudes though.
But when I'm playing, I don't need to be worried about money because if I'm good enough, money gonna come. Yeah. And to me, I think that's the problem that a lot of people have nowadays. And I don't have a problem with people making money. I want people to make the most money they can. But I don't know. It's crazy.
Nah, respect on that, man. Respect. All right, well, final 2 we got, man, before we get up out of here. I always like to ask this, man, throughout your playing career, you made a ton of plays out there. I got a couple plays that are always like my favorite that I watch you do, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But from your perspective, man, what would you say was your favorite play from your career?
That's a tough question, bro. My favorite play?
Play that you made, man. What's your favorite one?
Yeah,
you made a lot of plays, bro.
I have 2 plays. I don't have a really favorite. I have 2 plays. So my favorite play, one of them is the strip in the Bengals game.
Legendary moment. Absolutely legendary moment, man.
That game was crazy. That game was crazy. And then the next play, I would say, we played the Miami Dolphins in the playoffs. And,
freezing cold.
And it was freezing cold. And I had ended up running up, and I thought it was a run. And I ended up dropping back, and I ended up catching a pick. But I was, like, in the backfield. And I was like, but, like, once I was in the backfield, I seen it was a play action based off of the film. I was like, oh, like how they were set up. I was like, oh, I kind of know what they're thinking. So I literally ran right where I thought the ball was going to go.
Ran to the spot.
The ball hit me dead in my face. And I was like, oh, man. So, like, it was those are the 2 plays I would say is my 2 favorites.
No, I love that right there, man. Shoot.
What was your favorite play?
Watching you?
No, it was you.
Oh, just throughout my career? Man, Brett Favre. Come on, baby, man. My rookie year. Get a chance to play against Minnesota Vikings. 3rd play of the game, man. Go out there, rush the passer. Brett Favre drop back. Get my big kid. It should have been a strip sack, but my guy Drayton Flores catches it, so it turns to an interception. But he ultimately gets hurt, man. Breaks the streak, though. 297 games consecutively starting. He doesn't start the next week. So I always go back to that play because I was just like.
So you heard him. So you have you.
Yeah, but it was my best hit. It was my best hit, man. Look, and you know what they said? It was like, yo, Bruce Smith, Reggie White, this guy, that, all these dudes hit him. But he didn't get about the yo hit. And I was like, you know what, man, I like that play. So I always hold that one to me, man. That's
back in the day, like that's the stuff that you was cool with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, they be like, oh, you dirty.
Oh, man, don't put that on me, man.
You know
but that's what they would, though.
You know
they definitely would.
Like, I hit
Giovanni Bernard was going to say, that was one of my other ones I love, bro.
People was like, man, that was a dirty hit. I'm like, bro, I was just running as fast as I can, and I ended up hitting him.
I'm trying to put you to sleep, man.
I wasn't
not
even
intentionally,
but
yeah.
I wasn't even trying, bro. I just went up there to hit him like a regular hit, bro. I wasn't even trying to hit.
You were flying.
Yeah, I was just running so fast.
Oh my God, you were flying, bro.
Yeah. I was just like, bro. Honestly, bro, I was just running so fast, and you were just in the area, bro. Like that's like that's why I missed a lot of tackles because like I'm either hitting you or I'm not hitting you. It's like, hey, that's how I felt.
It's just cool to hear how your mind works in those situations because I always think from my side, I'm like, yo, I'm analytical with it. All right, what's the best angle I can take right here, man? I can't miss this tackle. What's the best? And you like, bro, I'm here. I'm going to meet you here, and I'm either going to kill you or miss it. But
if I miss it, it's going to cause you to do something to make somebody else to make it.
Yo, I love how you thinking, bro. I love how you thinking, man.
Yeah, so like whenever you used to see me just shoot gaps, I'm shooting it. If I don't make the tackle, it blow the play up.
You still believe that somebody else can make the play,
it's
though?
It's going to blow the play up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I looked at it, you know? So, and like, because Vince was like, man, how you be going after picks?
Yeah,
I just go after it, bro. Like, hey, I'm going for the ball, bro. The ball both ways.
There's certain things you would do. It's like, yo, you just cool with taking that chance? And then you make the play, and I'm like, well, that's why you Shazier, bro. Yeah.
Hey, bro, it's just, I bet on black, bro.
Man, I love it, man. I love it. All right, well, the final one that I have for you, and this is the one that I always love to ask us as players, man. We always talk about that transition, right? When you go from college to playing in the pros. And that first year you hit and you realize, you know what? This isn't college anymore. This isn't high school. These the big boys. They big, they strong, they fast. Like, wow, eye-opener, right? And we typically call it our welcome to the NFL moment.
Yeah.
If you could, man, talk about your welcome to the NFL moment.
Yeah, it's so funny. I just talked about this not too long ago. My welcome to the NFL moment is when I played against Joe Thomas on my first game of the year. Because we ended up running the outside zone play. And we played a lot of good players in college. And especially in the Big Ten, you have a lot of good linemen. But we did an outside zone play, and you just shock and shed and try to get to the edge. And when I tried to shock and shed him, he grabbed me, and I was like, I couldn't move. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? And, like, he literally just kept pushing me, and I'm like, bro, I literally could not get off this man. I'm like, this dude is way too strong. Right now. I don't understand what's going on. So then I was like, I have to do better. I have to lock in a little bit more. I can't be letting people grab me like that no more.
It's real like that. But Joe Thomas is one of the best to ever do it too, though, man.
One of the best to ever do
I was
it.
about to say, yeah, he done plenty of us like that. Plenty of people that got done like
But
that.
they let me
man.
know my rookie year. Hey, it's a lot of grown men out here taking care of their kids. So I just had to make sure I get
that boy got kids,
mine.
man. It's a different type of athlete. He got kids and he don't got kids. All right, he got kids.
Yeah.
Hey,
They lock
be
in
ready.
You lock in a little bit.
Be ready,
when
bro.
You got kids when you out there on the field.
No, facts on that, man. My dog.
No, I
Appreciate you, man. Come on, man. Like you said, from the heart, man. Definitely appreciate you taking time, man, to hop on the show with me, man. And we just continue to wish you nothing but the best at everything that you do going forward, man. Super supportive of you. And yeah, man, is there anything else you want to plug or promo, man, before we get up out of here?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I just appreciate the opportunity. I mean, I love catching up with you.
Nah.
If you guys have the opportunity, just please go check out RyanShazierFund.org just to learn more about our foundation and fund and how we helping people with spinal cord injuries. Yeah. I know a lot of people don't know many people with spinal cord injuries, but like I'll try to say it like this. As quick as I snap my fingers, that's how fast somebody can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't give you time to think. It don't give you time to prepare. You just change your life. So just go in there and just check it out so you can just understand what others are dealing with. And if something happens to somebody, you know where to look. And then also, if you're a fan of health and wellness, check out Organic Remedies. I still have my
shout out.
I still have my strand over there. So I love you guys to check that out. And
I check that out a lot. It's a good strand.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. So I hope y'all like that. And thank you so much for having me, bro.
No, without a doubt, baby. Well, hey, man, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, baby.